We've all had the immense pleasure of watching cases where we have given the Similimum to respond dramatically. Their physical complaints get dramatically better, their emotional state improves, and their life around completely changes to what they want it to be. But we've also had cases where we have given what we thought was the Similimum, but there has been no response. Follow-up after follow-up, these patients report no response, and their frustration only mirrors ours. What could be the cause of this? Every case has a state from which comes an outer reflection. The methodologies that we've perfected so far utilize these outer reflections through rubrics, through understanding of behavior and materia medica, periodic table and kingdoms, where we then make a supposition that this group and pattern of behavior or outer rubrics must be coming from this deeper inner state. And perhaps here is where the errors come from. So for example, an outer reflection in a case could look like this. However, the same case could actually look like this. And this is what could be happening, because we could presume that this group of outer reflections is this remedy, whereas 6 months later, when we look at it in another way, because the case didn't do well, we realize that the same group of symptoms or rubrics actually point to another remedy. How do we eliminate this error? Is there something we could do to eliminate this subjective prejudice and supposition? Yes, there is. One way is, instead of going to the reflections, what if we went directly to the state? The leap to the Similimum is the method that takes us directly to the state, not to the reflections, and bypasses the reflections completely. It utilizes the understanding of the human brain as gleaned by cognitive neuroscientists. The brain has two functioning parts, the conscious or the thinking and the unconscious or the automatic. They both run simultaneously and parallel, which is why we can drive while having an intelligent conversation. The language of the conscious brain is thought. The language of the automatic or the unconscious is the five senses. The conscious brain is usually the dominant one. When there is a trigger of emotion, this conscious dominant becomes quiet, thinking stops, and the automatic or the unconscious is now clearly visible. The state lies in this automatic or unconscious part. And thus, when we utilize the words of the five senses, we utilize the understanding that the conscious tries to inhibit the automatic or the unconscious, and using Dusac words, allowing the patient himself to take us to that remedy, that source of the Similimum, which has all these state words in it. The methodology we've used so far for the leap to the Similimum utilizes the words and the Dusac words. One more aspect of neuroscience has become clear to us of late. When you look at me, what I say to you goes into your conscious or the thinking brain, whereas the background goes into your automatic or the unconscious brain. We've always used this background to try to enhance the experience and to get the exact words of the experience. But now we realize that the background is the playground of the unconscious. And thus a second advanced method of the leap to the Similimum utilizes backgrounds directly to get to the source. In this second module of the leap to the Similimum, at the other song, on the 13th and the 14th of July, not only will you watch case after case of the word method of the leap to the Similimum, but also get a glimpse into this advanced methodology of using the background to get to the remedy and the state in the unconscious. The details of these individual aspects of neuroscience, as well as how we use them in the actual methodology, are on the YouTube, on multiple YouTube videos labeled as "Kyun Dikhta Nahi Hai" or "What is it that you cannot see?"